Tasha was just a new maid, barely noticed, barely trusted. To most in the Lancaster mansion, she was invisible. But that changed the moment she discovered the billionaire's daughter struggling for breath, her small body collapsing in silence, while the estate around her carried on as if nothing were wrong. No staff in sight, no phone calls going through, no help on the way. Panic surged through Tasha's veins, and in that moment she did the unthinkable. She broke into Gregory Lancaster's locked office, stole his car keys, grabbed a bundle of cash, and sped away with the girl clutched against her chest. Within minutes, alarms blared through the estate. Security systems lit up red. By the time she reached the hospital, the staff pinned her down in handcuffs. She was treated like a criminal, not a savior. But then the doctor pulled Gregory aside, and what he revealed left the billionaire frozen in place. Tasha Briggs hadn't entered the Lancaster estate like a storm. She slipped in quietly, like a soft knock no one cared to answer. 3 days earlier, she had been handed a mop, shown the servants' quarters, and told nothing more. No one asked about her cracked knuckles or why her shoelaces were always tied so tight. The Lancaster mansion was a fortress of white pillars and glass walls high in the hills. Its gates didn't just keep danger out, they kept stories like hers out too. Gregory Lancaster, master of the house, billionaire, tech magnate, stock trader across 5 countries, didn't speak to staff. His world wasn't cold, it was temperature-controlled. And then there was Vivian, 10 years old, delicate as spun glass, cursed with sickle cell anemia. She rarely spoke to the chefs, the chauffeurs, not even to her father. Most days she lived in silence upstairs in the sunroom, wrapped in blankets. Tasha noticed the little things, her shuffling steps, her short-lived smiles that cracked like dry paint, the trembling in her small hands, but no one else really looked. They only made sure her medication was refilled, her food was warm, her room dust-free. That, to them, was enough. But not to Tasha. On her 4th morning, she carried a breakfast tray upstairs. When she opened the girl's door, she found Vivian curled up on the floor, breathing shallowly, arms wrapped around herself as though trying to hold her insides together. Tasha didn't panic. She didn't ask questions. She just sat down quietly beside her. After a long silence, the little girl whispered, "It hurts today." Tasha nodded. "I know." That moment didn't change the world, not yet, but something invisible shifted between them. The days passed, and the whispers of the older staff floated around her. "She won't last a week. She's too soft for this place." Another muttered, "She's seen struggle, and struggle doesn't last long here." Tasha heard it all. She said nothing. By the next morning, a storm loomed. Gregory had flown out at sunrise for another trip overseas. The staff busied themselves with chores, preparing the mansion for an investor dinner weeks away. No one noticed that Vivian hadn't come down for breakfast. Tasha did. When she entered Vivian's room, time slowed. The girl was half off the bed, drenched in sweat, lips cracked, her body twisted in agony. The air smelled sharp, metallic like fear. Tasha rushed to the emergency call button. Nothing. She grabbed the hallway phone, straight to voicemail. She dialed Gregory, no answer. Again and again, nothing. Downstairs, when she begged the other maids for help, they waved her off. "That's not our clearance. We'll inform the estate manager. That's the process." Process. Vivian didn't have time for process. Without thinking, Tasha sprinted to the basement, grabbed the key tagged "Do Not Remove," and unlocked Gregory's private office. The room was immaculate. Leather chairs, glass desk, a wall safe, a Tesla key fob, and a thick bundle of $100 bills. She didn't hesitate. She lifted Vivian's frail body, trembling from the effort, and carried her through the halls, past the blinking cameras and silent alarms. The front door screamed as it closed behind her. The Tesla purred to life. She buckled Vivian in, whispered, "Hold on," and pressed the accelerator. Tires screeched. Behind her, the mansion erupted in alarms. Unauthorized access, vehicle missing. 2 black SUVs pulled out behind her minutes later. At the hospital, Tasha didn't wait for protocol. She dragged Vivian inside, her voice breaking. "Help, please! She has sickle cell! She can't breathe!" Doctors rushed the girl onto a gurney. Tasha whispered, "I'm the maid," when asked who she was. But that didn't matter. She had brought her. Moments later, estate security stormed the hospital. They cuffed her wrists, ignoring the nurses who shouted in protest. "She stole a billionaire's vehicle and cash. She's under arrest." Gregory arrived soon after, his suit sharp, his eyes cold. He was updated quickly, the maid in custody, the car recovered, the cash counted. His daughter? Barely stabilizing. Then the doctor approached him, calm, steady, firm.
"Mr. Lancaster, I need you to understand. Your daughter has sickle cell. When a crisis hits, minutes matter, seconds matter. If that young woman hadn't brought her here exactly when she did, your daughter would have died." The words hit like thunder. The doctor didn't soften the blow. "Your phones were off, your staff unreachable, your systems failed. That girl saved her. Not you, not your money, her." And with that, he walked away. Hours later in a holding room, Tasha sat cuffed, sweat drying on her skin. She didn't beg, she didn't cry. She simply stared at the wall, silent. The door opened. Gregory stepped inside, alone. For the first time, he looked at her, really looked. Then he reached into his pocket, unlocked her cuffs, and said softly, "Come with me. She's asking for you." Vivian lay pale but alive under a sea of hospital blankets. Her breathing was steadier now. Her small fingers tapped against the sheet as though counting something only she understood. When she saw Tasha, her lips curved into the faintest smile. "Tasha," she whispered. And for the first time, Gregory saw something he hadn't before. By morning, rumors swirled online. Maid arrested for stealing billionaire's car, possible kidnapping. Headlines twisted the truth. But that night, Gregory did something no one expected. He stood before cameras on his estate lawn with Tasha by his side, not in a maid's uniform, but in a simple gray dress, her hair pulled back, her hands trembling. "My daughter nearly died last night," Gregory began, his voice raw. "And the only reason she is alive today is because of the woman standing beside me. She broke rules, yes, but sometimes rules are the problem. No one else acted, no one else ran, no one else cared the way she did. Tasha Briggs did what I could not, and the world should know her name." Reporters leaned in, flashes blinding. "Effective immediately," he continued. "Tasha will never work as a maid again. I have established a trust in her name, and she will lead our family's medical outreach foundation moving forward. If we are to build systems that truly protect children like my daughter, they must be led by people who act, not people who only speak." Inside the mansion that night, The whispers were different. "She's staying." "No," another replied. "She's running things now." And for the first time in her life, Tasha wasn't walking on eggshells. She was walking on solid ground. Vivian recovered slowly, but each week she grew stronger. Her laughter echoed through the very halls that once ignored her pain. They had called Tasha just a maid, but now she was the woman who rewrote the rules. And the billionaire who once never saw her, he was the first to stand beside her when the world finally did. Because sometimes the people we overlook are the very ones who show up when it matters most. Tasha Briggs wasn't just a maid. She was the reason a little girl got a second chance at life. So the next time you're tempted to judge someone by their position, remember what this maid risked and what she became. Real heroes don't wait for permission. They act.